Hey, what's up? It's Deborah and Robbie with Sowing the Sanctuary. We actually just left with a truck full of lumber, so we're gonna head to the house and unload all of this. Back at the house and we're gonna unload this. Fun. Here we go. Let's do it. All right, so we have just unloaded all of it. This is what you can see.
And now it begins, the building.
All right, so I say we, Robbie, mainly Robbie, I'll help as needed, is going to build. As you can see over here, we have our door. And there's just a drop off, and this is Robbie's shop. So we've got to build some stairs, and this is kind of where it's gonna go. So that's a little bit of a project for us today.
It ain't all gonna get done today.
So we'll start it, and
Dream shop. Been waiting a long time.
yeah, so this is where you guys are going to learn along with us a lot of
stuff I love to do.
A lot of stuff. Woodworking is a passion of Robbie's, and we hope to build lots and lots of cool things in this space. So once we get our steps installed, we can do the electrical. The garage doors should be coming very soon.
December.
And yeah, so once we get everything, we're gonna move some stuff in and start some projects. Hopefully some cabinets, right?
We'll see.
Soon, hopefully.
We'll see.
But
whatever comes priority at that time.
yeah, so
That's usually how it goes.
Yep.
Fly in like Superman and do it.
So yeah, this is our project for today. So I'm gonna go inside and do a little bit of meal prep for the week. Just makes life simpler. It's cold here in Georgia, so I think the high for today is supposed to be around
45, 50, somewhere
yeah.
in there.
So we got up this morning and it was cold, so cold. And we told our son, one of them, he came downstairs with a t-shirt on, and I said, you might want to go rethink that, put on a hoodie.
Of course he didn't.
And of course he's like, I'm good. All right, well, he was wishing, needless to say, that he had listened. But that was a battle we weren't going to fight, and sometimes they just have to learn on their own. But it is cold. It'd be some good fireplace weather, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
We're not inside right now, so maybe a little later. But what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to get busy now?
I gotta clean this mess up.
All right,
y'all
so
stacked in furniture on.
Yeah, we brought in some furniture from the pool area. It won't take long. So it looks like he's gonna start on this project. We're gonna go inside and do a little bit of meal prepping for a minute. All right, so I just came back inside, and it's actually a really good day to be inside doing some meal prepping. I usually try to do a really big meal prepping for like a month or so, and I do a lot of freezer meals. But today we're just gonna meal prep for the upcoming week. So we are actually going to be planning for 4 meals today. And before I tell you what we're doing, I had some leftover chicken. So last week we did some chicken fajitas, and it actually had a lot of chicken, and so we weren't able to eat all of it. And I wanted to do something for sure that included some chicken, so that I would not waste that chicken because it's still perfectly good. And so we're gonna do a chicken pot pie, and then we're also gonna do a chicken chili. And I did buy some more chicken for that, because what we had left over will probably only be enough for the chicken pot pie. So I bought some more chicken, and we are gonna cook that up for some chicken chili. And then we're gonna do a wild rice soup, and then we're gonna do a tuna casserole. So right now on the stove, I have my noodles cooking. So I've already got that started, and they should be pretty much finishing up with that in just a few moments. So while that is cooking, I've already put out my chicken that I had left over from the chicken fajitas last week, and I'm just cutting that up, and we're gonna get ready to make a chicken pot pie. And this is super easy, super quick. I'm not gonna bake it today, of course. I'm just gonna prepare it, do the meal prepping part of it, so that when I get home, probably maybe Tuesday, I can just pop it in the oven and let it cook on 350 for literally like 35, 40 minutes, depending on when the crust looks to be done. So what I'm doing right now, again, I'm just chopping up the chicken into little cube-sized pieces, and I'm gonna put it in a bowl and mix up. I'm gonna put some vegetables, and I use mainly just these mixed vegetables. I use 2 of these, and I throw in with my mix of chicken, and I do some cream of chicken, 2 cans of cream of chicken. And it's as simple as that. I add some salt and pepper, mix it all up, and put it in my pie crust. Or I put it in my, on my pie crust, in my pie pan, and I just cover it with foil, put it in the fridge so I can pull it out probably Tuesday afternoon after work. Simple, simple. So I'm gonna finish up with that, and I'll show you what it looks like in just a few minutes. All right, so I've already put my chicken in my bowl, and I've put in 2 cans of the mixed vegetables, and then I've added 2 cream of chicken. So I have all of that in my bowl here. I'm just gonna give it a good stir. I'm gonna add salt and pepper, easy as that, and then I just put it in my pan. I have my pie crust actually already in my pie dish, and I'm just gonna pour everything in my pie dish. Simple as that. I'm gonna add some pepper.
Last pie pan.
I love pepper. Gonna add some salt, just a little bit of salt. Mix it all up. My boys actually love this dish. I mean, who doesn't love chicken pot pie, right, if you're a kid? Especially when it's...
bread.
Yeah, they love bread, don't they? That's Robbie in the background. They love bread. All right, so that's a good mix. I'm gonna put my pie dish right here, and you're gonna see me just pour it into my pie dish, like so. And this is actually probably enough. That's my kids upstairs, you can hear them. This is actually gonna be enough mix, so I'm probably gonna get 2 out of this. So we'll have this for dinner one night this week, and then I'll actually freeze the other one so that when I come home one day, I'm in need of a fast home-cooked meal, I can just grab that one out of the freezer and not have to do anything whatsoever. And I would encourage you, if you're a working mom or a working dad, or y'all are just busy in general, I would encourage you to do this kind of a thing, just to kind of prepare for those nights that you just are extremely tired and you don't feel like doing anything. This is a huge win. All right, so I've poured my mixture into my pie dish, and I didn't really worry about the pie crust being perfect on the bottom because I'm actually gonna top it with another one. So I put this one on top. And I kind of tuck the sides. I mean, anybody can do this. Simple, simple, simple. And then I take my fork and poke my holes just so that it can breathe. So I'm actually going to do another one since I do have extra mix, and I'm going to freeze that one. So I will do the same exact process, and then I'll just wrap it in plastic wrap and put some foil around it. I'll date it. I'll title it what it is, date it, and put it in the freezer so that when I do come home one day and don't have anything planned, or it's 6 and I'm not able to cook because for whatever reason, I can pull this out of the freezer and it'll be all good. All right, so that is the chicken pot pie. Next on my list, I think I'm just gonna put it over there and I'll wrap it when I'm done with everything. All right, so next on the list is gonna be my tuna casserole. So let me tell you how I do that. I have my noodles already rinsing or draining rather in the sink. So I'm gonna grab those and then we'll get started on that tuna casserole. All right, so for my tuna casserole, I actually went ahead and I put my pasta noodles in my bowl, and I use the egg noodles. You can use whatever type of noodle you want. It's really up to your preference. But to me, these are the ones that I tend to like the best. So I've added in my 2 cans of cream of chicken, and I typically put cream of mushroom in it as well, but I forgot to get some, so I guess we won't be making it this time with the cream of mushroom, and that's fine. And so I'm gonna add just a little bit of onion. This is probably 1/3 cup of onion. And again, the onion is optional depending on whether or not you like onions or not. We do actually love onions, so we definitely wanna add that for this one. All right, so for this recipe, I use 4 cans of tuna. That was 1. And here's 2. And again, this dish also makes a lot, and we are gonna have enough to make 2 pans. So we'll save 1 in the fridge. I'm not gonna cook it today, but we're gonna go ahead and save 1. I'm gonna put 1 in the fridge for one of the meals for this upcoming week, and then I'm just gonna freeze the other one. So in the same event, if I come home and one day I need to grab something quick and easy, all I'll have to do is just grab it out of the freezer, pop it in the oven, and cook it for 30 to 45 minutes on 350. So I'm all about easy and convenience. All right, and then this recipe, there's my tuna. And this recipe actually calls for sweet peas, but I didn't have any sweet peas, so I'm just gonna use green beans this time, no worries. And I'm just gonna stir all of this up so that it's well mixed. I'm gonna add my salt and pepper as well. This is just another simple, easy dish. And it doesn't require a whole lot of ingredients, doesn't require a whole lot of time. I typically could do this easily when I come home from work one day this week, but I like to go ahead and do it ahead of time just so it saves on cleanup time and preparation time. Just makes it easy for me so I can come home, unwind for a little bit, maybe help my kids with their homework or go for a walk or something while it's cooking. All right, so I'm gonna add my salt. I'm gonna add my pepper. And it does call for cheese. So we're gonna add our cheese. And whatever cheese you want is really up to you, but we are just gonna add this mild cheddar. And it calls for about a cup, but I'm not gonna measure it because to me, cheese is better the more you add. So we're just gonna add, I guess, enough. Just kind of eyeball it. Add enough that I think is gonna be enough for this dish. So we're gonna mix that up as well. And then we're gonna pour it in our dishes. And we'll get 2 meals out of this. So there's just 4 of us in my family, and my boys do like this. So I'll probably serve it with maybe a side salad. Just a real easy meal. So that's it. Just the tuna, the noodles, the cream of chicken or cream of mushroom, and onions, sweet peas if you have them, or green beans or anything really for vegetable. All right, so I've already sprayed my pans. I have 2 pans here. When I'm doing this meal prep, I like to have my trash can right here beside me so that I can just toss whatever I don't need right there. And I've already cleaned out the dishwasher, so I have a clean dishwasher. So when I'm done with my meal prep today, I'll go ahead and pop everything in the dishwasher and let it be washing. And then when I come back in from outside this evening, I can put everything away. All right, so this is enough literally for, like I said, 2 pans this size, and there won't be much waste with this dish because typically the 4 of us with my boys who are growing tremendously by the hour, they usually tear this up and there's not a lot left over. All right, so I'm just gonna take my spoon, smooth it out. And I think this one got just a little bit more, so I'm gonna steal from this one. And then I'm gonna do the same with this. I'm gonna smooth it out. I am gonna top it with more cheese. Again, like I said, we love some cheese. All right, so we're gonna top it with some cheese. Trying to make this one a little better smoothed out. All right, so this is what we got. All right, so we're gonna top with some more cheese, and then I'm gonna sprinkle some French fried onions on top to kind of give it that little crisp when it bakes, and then it'll be yummy. I actually started meal prepping, I would say probably 2 years ago when I really started getting into it. But this past year, I've started learning a lot more and kind of getting, I guess, more variety. And it's really been a great experience. All right, so I think I have just enough French onions to top these off with. All right, so this is what we have. We have our recipe of tuna casserole. I've put more cheese on top and sprinkled my French onions. And I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, like I said, I'll have one that I'll put in the fridge for this week's menu, and then I'll freeze one. I'm gonna add this to my table so I can do my wrapping after I'm done with everything. All right, next on the list is gonna be the creamy white chili. Yum. Chili, especially this time of the year when it does begin to get really cold. And today is gonna be the perfect day for white chili. Creamy white chili. It's gonna be chicken chili. So we're gonna actually eat this tonight, and then we'll have it again for leftovers one night this week. So it's gonna make a lot, and then whatever we don't eat, I'll just freeze, and that'll be a meal for later as well. All right, so this recipe calls for a pound of chicken breast. And so what I've done here is I've chopped up the chicken breast into nice little size cubes. And then we're gonna add a cup. Actually, we're gonna add an entire onion that I've already pre-chopped. And so we're gonna add the onion, and I'm also gonna add 2 cloves of garlic that I've already chopped. So we're gonna add some oil to my pan over here, some olive oil. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my stove. And I like to cook in my wok, just makes it easy. It's nice and large, so I love using it. All right, so I'm gonna tilt this camera here so that you can see it. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in my pound of chicken. And you typically can cook the entire chili recipe on the stovetop, but since I wanted to get outside and do some things with Robbie, I'm actually just gonna cook my chicken with my onion and garlic, and then everything else I'm just going to dump into my crock pot, and I'm gonna let it finish cooking for the rest of the day. But you typically could do this all on the stovetop if you wanted to, of your choice. All right, so we have all of that in the pan here, and I'm just gonna stir it and cook it. And this should be able to be done in maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So basically, I just want all of the pink to be gone. And like I said, this should probably take 10 to 15 minutes. All right, the chicken smells amazing. I wish you could smell it. It really smells so good. Check it out. So you want to cook the chicken until basically you see the juices are pretty clear and all of the pink in the chicken. You want the chicken to not be pink. So it looks like we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the stove, and I'm gonna get ready to pour. I'm just gonna dump all of this, juices and all. I'm just gonna dump all of this in my crock pot. And I'm gonna grab my spoon here so I can spoon out all the onions, because I want all of that to be in my chili. It's gonna be so good. All right, so I'm just gonna make sure I get all of the onions. All right, so I'm gonna show you what we got here. All right, so this is the chicken, onions, and garlic that we just cooked on the stovetop. And as you can see, it looks amazing. I did want to keep all of my juices in because that's just gonna add so much goodness, so much flavor. It's gonna be so good. Now, you could, like I said a moment ago, you could continue to cook all of this on the stovetop, but for time purposes today, we're just gonna throw all of it in this crock pot. So let me tell you what we're gonna add. All right, I have 2 cans of chilies here that we're gonna dump into our crock pot. And then I have a cup of sour cream. This is where the creamy white comes in. And then I've got a half a cup of heavy whipping cream that I'm just gonna add. We are gonna add some chicken broth to the mix, and I'm just gonna do 1 32 ounce. And as you can see, the cream is starting to form. And then when I let this simmer for the afternoon, it's just gonna bring out all of those flavors, and it's gonna be so, so yummy. All right, so now I'm gonna walk over to the sink with my black part of the crock pot dish. And I have already rinsed and drained 2 cans of Great Northern beans. So I'm gonna add those to the crock pot. And then I'm gonna take everything back over here to the other side of the kitchen. And then now we're gonna add our spices. So we're gonna go ahead and add our salt, and the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm not gonna measure everything, but as I add it, I'll tell you what they want you to do. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of ground oregano. And I tend to do a little bit more oregano because I want that flavor just to pop. I'm gonna do a little bit of cayenne pepper. And so this is what's going to give it just a little bit of a heat, but not too much. It's not overbearing. So you want to be kind of precise with that. It calls for 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We're going to do some regular black pepper. So you do want to add, according to the recipe, you do want to add a 1/2 teaspoon. So we're going to add that to our mix. All right, we want to do about 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. So we're going to add that. All right, and then next, let's see, we've done the whipping cream, we've done the sour cream, we've got the broth, and we have all the spices. So basically, we're good. We're just gonna give this a good little stir, and this is gonna be so incredibly yummy. You could probably put some cream cheese in this if you wanted to. It doesn't have that listed on the recipe, but I think that might be pretty good too. All right, and then I'm just gonna put the top on my crock pot, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, and we're gonna let it cook on low. You want it to simmer for at least maybe 30 minutes, but since we're gonna do the slow cooker, we're just gonna let it cook slowly in the crock pot for maybe 2 hours. So I'm going to add that over, plug it in, and next on our list is some wild rice soup. All right, for the wild rice soup, I'm going to use my wok. So that way I won't have to wash and deal with even more pots and pans. So I'm going to use just the same exact wok. All right, so I'm going to add just a spoonful of butter to my wok. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on. And I have my heat on low. I am actually going to add in some carrots. So I have actually put these in my food processor because you want your carrots to be finely chopped, and same with celery. You want to add some celery. So you're going to do maybe a cup of carrots and a cup of celery. And you're just going to add that. You just want to saute them. Baby.
Trying to find the can opener.
Okay. It's over there by the sink. Alright. So I have this. I'll show you what it looks like.
Where?
It's in the sink, baby. Alright, so you see here, I'm just adding this to my butter, and I just want to saute it. All right, so once this is sauteed, I'm gonna add in my flour. So this is another recipe that you can cook on the stovetop, but again, I'm just gonna do my crock pot instead. So I've sauteed my carrots and my celery, and I've done that just in butter. And then I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of flour. So I'm gonna add that to my mix. And you're wanting to add your flour until it is completely, you want to just stir it until it's completely blended. And you're going to do all of this on the stovetop. So you just want to stir until it's completely blended. All right, so I am going to add my celery and my carrots to my crock pot. And then that's when I'm going to add my chicken broth. So you're going to add your chicken broth to this. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Then you're going to add in your wild rice. So I just get the long grain wild rice, and this is a box that I actually bought from Aldi. All right, so I have both soups now in the crock pots, and I'm gonna let them cook for a couple of hours. And I have created myself a little bit of a mess. So I'm looking in my sink, and I have a little bit of a mess that I've got to clean up. Luckily, I've already unloaded the dishwasher, so I'm gonna get all of this stuff loaded up into the dishwasher, wash them, and then I can empty them later tonight. All right, so I'm gonna show you what we have today. We have our soup here, our wild rice soup in the crock pot, cooking for a meal this week that we're gonna have. We have our white creamy chicken chili that we're gonna have one day this week. And then over here on the table, we have 2 tuna casseroles that I'm going to wrap up. One's gonna be for this week, and then one's gonna be a freezer meal for later on. And then I have another chicken pot pie, and I'm going to actually get, tomorrow, I'm gonna get some more pie crust. I'm gonna make one more out of the mix that I have here. So I'm just going to put this in a container, and then I will make that other one tomorrow, and then I'll freeze it for sometime later. All right, I'm gonna get busy with cleaning up the kitchen, and then we're gonna head outside. right, so I have the tuna casseroles all packaged up. I'm gonna put one for us to keep for this week, and then I'm gonna freeze one. All right, so here we go. Same thing for this chicken pot pie. We're gonna freeze one, keep one for this week. All right, so dinner prep for this week is all done. And I'm looking at the time, and that probably took me about 2 hours, honestly. I know that seems like a long time, but I'd rather spend my 2 hours on a Sunday getting everything done, cleaned up, prepared, all of the things. I honestly think that's going to save us a lot of heartache and headache for this upcoming week. So 2 hours isn't bad to have 4 meals, and essentially it's more than 4 because the recipes were able to make double. So essentially I think I have about 6 meals, so not bad. All right, let's go outside and see what's going on out there. All right, I just came out into the shop to see what Robbie's doing, and he's building, what's this thing called, Rob?
Platform.
So he's building the platform for the door here. I guess this is going to be the platform. Once you step out, this is what you're going to step onto. So
Yeah, we're just getting started. So this is like the starting point of mounting the board onto the concrete.
all right, he wants us to try to hang this thing.
We can do it. Use your muscles.
All right, wish us luck.
All right, these 2 things are going to go in the holes.
Right here.
Holes. Hole here.
Oh, okay. All right.
That is.
Okay.
What the directions say is I got to hit it.
Okay.
This is why we need the kids. Steady.
All right, I'm back inside from helping Robbie. We were able, luckily, to mount that platform that you just saw, and it wasn't that bad. So wanted to come in a minute and sit down with you. I'm actually going to make some bread for the boys. They like homemade bread with their chili, so I'm going to do that. And I made myself a cup of coffee so I can warm back up before I go back into the coldness. But going to go back out there and help him for maybe an hour, and then we're going to come in and eat dinner and then sit down and watch a movie as a family. But I just wanted to sit down and just, talk to you for a few moments and just encourage you to meal plan, to meal prep and plan. When you do it and you get consistent with it, it just becomes a habit, and your mindset just kind of shifts to that idea. And we typically try to, look in our fridge and look in our pantry, see what we have, and we try to use up what we have, and we don't want to be so wasteful. So, especially with the prices the way that they have just went through the roof with everything, really. So that's typically what we do. We try to see what we have, and we use what we have, and then whatever we don't have, we typically go to the grocery store. We've been going on Friday nights just because that tends to fit better with our schedule right now. And we're not spending the entire weekend worrying about it. It's done for the upcoming week. So I would just encourage you to do the same. And I promise you, once you get consistent with it and you do it, it's just going to make your life so much easier, and you won't have the heartbreak and the headache during the week. So I would just encourage you to do that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that bread and step back out with Robbie for a minute. Just wanted to sit down with you for a moment and just give you some words of encouragement that whatever you have going on in your life, just try to make things simple for you. You just gotta, think about what it is that you can do to make your life more simple, because Lord knows we have so much more complex things to worry about. And if we could just do the simple things like meal prepping, it'll help us a little bit along the way. So for now, I'm going to sign off. I am so glad that you joined us and watched the video with us today. And if you like our videos, if you'll give us a thumbs up, and also if you will subscribe, that would be wonderful. So until next time, friends, sow your seed to make your life whatever it can be, and so that you can build your sanctuary, and it's going to be this nice, peaceful place that meets your needs. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.